Today, a vegan campaigner, Doug Maw, has been to the Bank of England talking about his worries over the new £5 note. Shortly after it was issued in the autumn, it emerged that the new fiver contains tallow. Tallow is derived from meat. It's sometimes used in candles and soap. Vegans and vegetarians were angry that tallow was in the new notes. Doug Maw set up a petition that's attracted over 130,000 signatures, and he's called for all of the notes to be withdrawn. Well, that meeting with bank officials ended around 20 minutes ago. Doug Maw is in our radio car now outside the Bank of England on Threadneedle Street in central London. Doug, how did you first find out that there was tallow in ththese new notes?
Hi, Winifred.
Hi.
Yes, it was accidental, really. I just spotted it on a friend's timeline on Facebook that the discussion was going on, and I sort of followed it along. And further down, someone had claimed they'd had a reply from the Bank of England after inquiring, saying that yes, the notes did contain tallow. So I got hold of the same contact at the Bank of England and asked them, and they corroborated that and confirmed that it did indeed.
As a vegan or as a vegetarian, you're surrounded by animal derivatives all the time. Why take objection to this one thing, the £5 note?
Absolutely we are. The problem with this, and I've had the incident today, I've gone into Liverpool Street to buy a day pass for the Underground, and the machine has dispensed one of these £5 notes to me. I have a choice. I either take that or leave it hanging there for someone else to take, because I don't want to be touching these things.
So what did you do?
So I took it because I can't afford to not have £5. So I'm being forced to handle something that's in direct conflict with my ethics.
So what
all these other items that you mentioned, like clothing, carrier bags, tyres, there are vegan alternatives, and we don't have to use them. With this note, the major factor for me and for many of the people who signed that petition was the fact that we no longer have choice and we're being forced to handle it again. In fact, some people are prohibited by their religion from handling these, and they're being forced to do it as well.
So you were invited to the Bank of England to speak with officials there. What did you say and what did they say in response?
Well, firstly, I was delighted that the bank had taken it seriously enough to have invited me. I spent about an hour and a quarter with the chief cashier and one of her team, and I brought along a representative from the Hindu Council of UK Temples as well to give a different perspective on this. And we discussed our concerns, and we were asking them about what they're going to do, what they are doing, timescales, and basically going forward what we want to do and how they can achieve that.
What did they say?
Well, their line is that they are no nearer to issuing non-tallow notes at the moment. However, they have accepted that notes can be produced, both polymer and non-polymer, without using animal products. But the concern for them is they need testing to see what kind of consequences, ramifications that has on other aspects of the note. So they're going through testing at the moment. So that's where they stand. They're doing a lot of testing to try and see if it's possible to bring out an alternative to these.
So are you disappointed?
I'm disappointed that they couldn't have turned it around thus far, because I've talked to people in R&D in the polymer industry who think they could have done, but without working specifically on those notes that they're working on, my guys won't know what they're facing. It's an issue for their manufacturers and production, and it's not really the chief cashier's level of expertise. So even bringing in an R&D guy to speak to would have probably been a waste of time, because they need to be speaking to the manufacturers.
The £5 note in Scotland is made by a different manufacturer, but it too contains tallow, and as I understand it, it's the same all over the world. In Australia and Canada, for example, their notes contain tallow. Was it realistic to expect the notes currently in circulation to ever be withdrawn?
I think it's not only realistic, I think it has to happen, because, as I said, there are people who are being forced to act against their beliefs, and both religious and ethical, and you have to take that into account. I have to wonder if these contained pieces of pig instead of pieces of cow, if different communities' responses would have been as taken seriously as well. They're not considering, when they're making these things, the impact it has on communities of different religious groups or vegans.
Doug Maw, thank you very much for coming on.